Are you guys ready for a poop story? If so, then I got you. So I walk in the patient's room and I'm getting ready to check her cervix, okay? But when I lift up the covers, I notice there's a little bit of poop on her gown. And so I'm like, okay, it happens. And I go and I check her cervix and, I do what I need to do. And then I ask my medical technician, hey, can you go grab a gown? Because he was standing right there. And he comes back with a gown. And so we go to change her gown. And I realize that it's a little more than just a little poop. Like, I think she's starting to go. Like, it's happening right now. And so what we do is we put these things underneath patients. They're called chucks. It's just like a pad that catches any kind of fluids or anything like that, because that way we're not like constantly changing the sheets. Like, we can just change out that pad. So I'm getting ready to change her gown, and I look on the chucks underneath of her, and there's a little more poop than I thought. So you guys know in labor, it's extremely, extremely painful. So most women get epidurals. And when you get an epidural, you can't move in bed. And so you're basically numb from the ribs down. And so this woman could not move at all. Like, she couldn't move her legs, nothing. And so it was up to us to get this cleaned up without any help from her. So I asked for help from another staff member, and we're rolling her back and forth like a log because she can't move. And we're replacing the chucks underneath of her. Now, as we're rolling her back and forth, all of a sudden, there is an explosion of diarrhea as well as regular stool, and just like a puddle of horribly stinky poop is just pouring out of her butthole. Now it's flowing all the way down her back, all over the sheets underneath of her. And at this point, there's poop everywhere. So of course, I'm trying to be professional, but I'm literally trying to keep myself from gagging. But the poop keeps coming. So what I'm trying to do is take the sheet that's on the bed and pull it off of the bed and kind of like bunch it up so I'm catching it so it doesn't get anywhere else. So then we have to take the sheet and the chucks and everything and kind of like push it underneath of her, and then one of us rolls her over that big bundle of sheets, and we pull it out, we replace the new ones, roll her back over it, we clean her completely up, like have to wipe her back and all of her parts and clean her all the way up. And at this point, she's like apologizing and feeling so embarrassed. And so we're like reassuring her, don't worry, it happens, like, and then we're giving the example of like, you're pushing a baby through your birth canal, like, the baby's head is pushing on your bowels, and, we're explaining all of this stuff to her because, people poop in labor. It just is what it is. Like, they poop in labor. But usually when they poop, it's like during pushing, and we're kind of like already set up for it and we're prepared for it. And like, the poop comes out, we just kind of wipe it away and put it in the little bag that collects the blood and the fluids and whatever else. Like, it's no big deal. Like, we're used to that. What we're not used to is explosions in the bed and then the patient not being able to move. And so we're literally like rolling her back and forth like a log, cleaning all this stuff up. So at this point, I feel so bad for this woman. Like, she's so embarrassed, and I understand that labor is a natural process, and like a baby is literally moving through your body. Like, and so if there's anything in your bowels, like, it's gonna come out. It's just normally they make it to the toilet and they don't have an epidural. Like, I've never had someone have like an explosion in the bed like that I had to clean up. And so then night shift comes in because I was day shift, and they get report from me, and I'm basically like telling them, just to let you know, this is what happened, and just so you're prepared, because I don't know if it's gonna happen again. Like, by the time when night shift was coming on, it had only been like an hour since this happened. So then I finished giving report and the call bell goes off, and I'm like, okay. And so the new nurse goes in there, and the medical technician like goes in there with her, and they're in there for a while. And I'm just like sitting out at the nursing station, and I'm waiting for her to come back. And so she just like never comes back, and it's like 15 minutes later, and I'm like, there's no way I'm going in there. Like, no, I'm not going in there. So she comes back and she's like, it happened again. And I'm like, oh no, I'm so sorry. So apparently they cleaned her up and then put her on a bedpan, and she was going again. So then before night shift even came on, like the smell, I'm telling you, it was bad. Like the smell was so horrible that the patient's husband was like, can you please take the trash can out of the room? And we're like, yes, of course. And so we replaced the trash can, and then we opened the door to the room so it can get like a little bit of ventilation. And I'm like, hey guys, I'm just gonna leave the door open so we can get some air flowing in here. And the other nurse that was sitting up at the nursing station was like, what is that smell? And so I told her what happened, and she's like, I can smell that like all the way from here. So the smell like literally went up the entire hallway, and everyone on the floor could smell it. And I'll be honest, like being a labor and delivery nurse, it's mostly happy. Like, you know, I love handling the infants, but they don't warn you. Like, these are the things that you're gonna have to do. And when I became a nurse, I specifically became a labor and delivery nurse and not like a medical surgical or any other kind of nurse, because I don't want to deal with poop. Like, I just really don't want to deal with poop, and here I am.